Sunday is fun day here at Miller Park. It's a beautiful day for baseball. It's the Cubs and the Brewers, the final game of this 4-game series. And this Brewers-Cubs series sponsorship is presented by Toyota. Got a good crowd filing in this afternoon on Matt Garza Gnome Day. And the Brewers are in salvage mode trying to win this final game of the series to avoid the sweep. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park. Great to have you with us this afternoon. Alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Brian Anderson. Sophia Minute is our reporter. We'll hear from her in just a moment. All right, so the trade winds come and go. Brewers losing a ton of offensive talent in the trading. They also lost Mike Fiers, and that puts a lot of pressure on guys at the front of that rotation, guys like Matt Garza and Kyle Loesch, who gets the ball here today. And we've been talking about this for a while, though. He is in desperate need of a good finish the final 2 months of the season. Yeah, he's lost his last 3 decisions. Hasn't won a game for the Brewers in a month, and certainly his numbers against the Chicago Cubs not too bad. He's going to be making his 25th start against the Cubs here today. 8-7. The key for Loesch is going to be keeping the baseball in the ballpark. He's given up 24 home runs this year, and the question then becomes, how's he going to be able to get out Anthony Rizzo? That's the guy that's been killing the Brewers. If Kyle Loesch is able to keep the baseball in the ballpark, ordinarily he's going to be okay. Has to avoid the big inning as well. He's put a lot of pressure on himself all season long. He knows he's got a couple of months. He's a free agent at the end of the year. Hopefully Loesch can get things turned around and have a strong finish. The Brewers need him. Anthony Rizzo, as Rock mentioned, has been a superstar in this series. Sophia caught up with the manager, Craig Counsell. We'll find out how to stop this guy coming up next.
By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. Sunday baseball on a very hot and sunny day here at Miller Park. Nobody's swinging a hotter bat in this series than Cubs first baseman and two-time All-Star Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo has hit safely in each of his last 6 games and has homered in a career-high 4 straight games. Rizzo has 2 3-run home runs in this series alone. His last one coming off of Matt Garza last night, spoiling what was otherwise a great start by Garza. And for manager Craig Counsell, the way Rizzo is locked in at the plate right now, it makes the room for error for his pitching staff very small.
He's a good hitter, and that's number one. I mean, he's a very good hitter. But I think, there are, and so when you're trying to get a guy out, you're looking for what spots I can go in the strike zone to get him out, and out of the strike zone that he might chase to get him out. And, Matt made a pitch up out of the strike zone, which I believe is a place that you can go with him, and he hit it out. And so, like I said, that's why I say you tip your cap to him. So there's less when a good hitter is hot, you have less room for error. There's less like we talked about, the holes, they're just smaller.
Rizzo's best numbers come against the Brewers, 13 home runs, 9 of those here at Miller Park today. Kyle Lowe will try to cool off Rizzo's hot bat and the Cubs. We have the series finale coming up next on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
We're in the middle of a long homestand, 11 games. The Padres are coming in tomorrow. Today it is the Chicago Cubs, the I-94 rivals. And this Brewers series with the Cubs presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. It is toasty out there, 88 degrees. And the humidity is up. Great day to play a little baseball and get loose. Well, before the ball game, Jonathan Lucroy, who is in the lineup, had a nice moment. He is hosting Roy Radke, a Korean War and Vietnam War veteran. And Roy threw out the first pitch. You see all the autographs on his jersey. Lucroy is tremendous with military charities, and it's not just lip service either. He actually gets out there, does a lot of trips, donates a lot of money and time, and the starting catcher is out there to catch the ceremonial first pitch, which is rare. So way to go, Jonathan Lucroy, and a good toss by Mr. Radke. So that sets us up for this afternoon's game. The Brewers trying to salvage the final game of the series and avoid a 4-game sweep at the hands of the Cubs. Here's Joe Madden's lineup, brought to you by Potawatomi. Fowler, Schwarber, and Coughlin at the top. Rizzo, Bryant, and Soler in the middle with Castro, the pitcher Clayton Richard, and Addison Russell rounding it out. has been the lineup for the last 3 days, minus that pitcher spot batting 8th. And Loesch's first pitch is down and away. Off we go at Miller Park, Milwaukee.
Well, Kyle Loesch has lost his last 3 decisions after winning back-to-back starts against the Twins and Phillies end of June and early July. And making start number 25 against the Cubs. He did win a game here at Miller Park against Chicago, 12-4 victory back on May 9th.
It's not about want to with Kyle Loesch as Fowler hits one sharply into right field, a base hit. Loesch has really, you could just tell his body language, and he's one of the better guys that you'll ever get to know. He's a great teammate. He's a mentor to many of these younger pitchers the Brewers have, but it is not going well on the mound for him this year, and he is carrying a lot of that burden. He knows that the Brewers are in the position they are in primarily because of the way he is pitching and the way Matt Garza and all these veteran guys have not been able to lead like they want. So it is what it is, and now you just try to have a good finish if you're Kyle Loesch.
It seems like every start for Kyle here at Miller Park has been a grind. A 3-7 record and an earned run average here at home over 8.
Schwarber swinging away at the first pitch. The young catcher had a home run last night. He had a couple of at-bats in last night's game that really set the Cubs up for success. He had an 11-pitch at-bat against Matt Garza that ended as a single. And then shortly thereafter, Anthony Rizzo homered again, hit another 3-run home run in this series. Rizzo has home runs in the first 3 games of this series. He's homered in 4 consecutive. He's driven in 7 runs for the Cubs. He has been their big weapon offensively in this series so far.
Yeah, take him out of the lineup, and the Cubs haven't done a whole lot in this series.
Schwarber has been impressive. He is just a rookie, and he's hardly played in the big leagues. He started the year in AAA, 22 big league games, and he's put up gaudy numbers. 4 home runs, 13 RBIs in just 22 games. He has an OPS at 997 in 22 major league games. A lot of guys come to the big leagues, they struggle a little bit, or maybe they'll get off to a fast start in the first week or so, but Schwarber, in 2 different calls up to the big leagues, has been able to consistently swing the bat well for Joe Maddon.
And even when he doesn't get hit, seems like he gets on base. That on base percentage well over 400. So good eye at the plate. We saw that in yesterday's game.
2 for 3 yesterday was Schwarber, and that's inside. It hit him. And Loesch has 2 on to start this game with nobody out. And not a good start today for Kyle Loesch. So a single, a hit by pitch. He'll face Chris Coghlan now.
Yeah, let's check out the Brewers' Menards defense. Davis, Peterson, and Braun in the outfield, the same outfield that they have had in the first 4 games of this series. Perez, Segura, Ilian Herrera gets the start at second base. Adam Lind at first. And Jonathan Lucroy, after a day off last night, behind home plate.
Here's Chris Coghlan. Coghlan continues in the 3 spot in the batting order. Does have some power. He's got 11 homers this year, but only 24 runs batted in, and he's hitting just 246. And hitting in front of Anthony Rizzo. Every Brewer pitcher knows this is a guy that you have to contain here. Can't put Coghlan on or allow him to reach base.
Man, that's what happened in last night's ball game. Yeah, Matt Garza walked Coghlan on 4 pitches. Next pitch, Rizzo hit it out. This is a guy that's got to hit his way on. You can't make it easy on the Cubs.
2 on, nobody out, and Loesch misses down and away. 2 balls and a strike. Coghlan, a former Rookie of the Year. Now in his second year with Chicago. He started at third base in the opener on Thursday. He's mostly an outfielder these days, but he does give Joe Maddon a little flexibility. I'll tell you, when Miguel Montero returns for the Cubs, he's out with a thumb injury now. He's starting a minor league rehab assignment today for the Cubs. When he comes back, Coughlin's job is the one that might be in question, his everyday job, because there really is only one place for Schwarber other than behind the plate, and that's left field. And that's where Coughlin plays. There's a strike. Needed that one, did Loesch, right at the bottom of the zone. Might have gotten the benefit of a call, and it's 3-2.
And that's been the frustration for Kyle Loesch. He knows he can't get too much of the white of the plate. And right at the bottom, might have gotten a generous call. Looked like on Fox Tracks it was borderline, but got the strike call. Just has not been able to find the corners all year.
That's a huge break with Rizzo due next. So instead of bases loaded, now a chance at an out. 3-2 is lined left field. Back is Davis. He's got it for the out. Runner tags Fowler, and he'll make it. So Coughlin lines out. He does advance a runner, and it's first and third for the Cubs with Rizzo coming up. At some point when you're talking about Anthony Rizzo, you have to say you can't be this good for this long. And hoping he will cool off if you're with the Brewers right now. Not only does he have great numbers against the Brewers this season, in this series as well, and also against Kyle Loesch in his career. He's a .458 career hitter against Loesch.
Yeah, 11 for 24, and he's got a home run. He's just red hot right now. You have to figure out ways to be able to pitch around him, which Loesch cannot do here. Got a man at first. Got to throw him strikes.
And a little backdoor slider to get in there for strike one on Rizzo. Yeah, those are the numbers against Loesch throughout his career. He stands right on top of the plate, as we've mentioned and talked about in this series, and the Brewers just have not been able to effectively work inside on Rizzo. There's a good one.
Yeah, a little cut fastball that was in off the corner, and Rizzo chased it. He's right on the plate. He looks in there, and Loesch able to get a wrinkle by him.
That missed his leg by 6 inches, and a swing and a miss. He leads the National League in hit by pitches. The 0-2 and a swing and a foul.
He swings at everything in there, doesn't he? I mean, there is about, what, 6 inches between that back foot and the plate. It's not even close. This is up and in, but he still swings at it. He likes it in there. He looks for it in there. Those hands hang right over the inside corner.
It's the baseball equivalent of invading your personal space there,
right,
for a hitter to stand on top of the plate like that. 15 hits against Milwaukee this year. Nobody's had more. 0-2 the count. And Rizzo punches one foul. There's a lot of talk last night after the game, especially from Matt Garza, how shocked he was and how shocked Maldonado was that Rizzo hit one out on a pitch that was up and in and out of the strike zone.
Well, he was looking for that. I mean, first time up, Garza threw a lot of pitches up and in. So he goes up there, looks for one, and he's good enough to be able to knock it out of the ballpark.
Lucroy's back in there. Rizzo pulls it foul. Now check out where this pitch location was. Not a bad location. And Rizzo let her high. Turns it around for a game-changing 3-run home run. And he's had 2 3-run homers in this series.
And one against Will Smith, one against Matt Garza, and both pitches on the inside part of the plate. He likes it in there. That's why he stands so close to home plate.
Here's the 0-2. Rolls over one. Nobody home there. Oh, Segura ends up stepping on the bag, and Rizzo is safe. Wow, with the shift on, that was all messed up for the Brewers defensively, and Fowler scores what should have been a double play to end the inning.
I'm not sure what you do with that. I mean, I guess you'd like to be able to say that's Perez's obligation to get there, but he was way off, way away from second base, and Rizzo runs well. So I don't know what anybody could have done to try and turn that double play other than what they did. Just does beat it at first base.
That buys him an RBI by that much.
Disadvantage. Yeah, that's a disadvantage of the shift right there. A perfect example of it.
So the putout goes 4-6. And here's Chris Bryant. Looked to me like the best chance at a double play was Hernan Perez coming across, but that's a long way to go. He would have had to probably catch the ball before he got to the bag, but he's got all of his momentum going that way, and that might have been the only shot. But yeah, Segura was right in the path of Elian Herrera trying to make a throw to second base. That could have blown up quickly as well.
It was actually a pretty good play to get an out at second. The way Segura was running after second base, running there and getting the baseball at the same time.
There's a nice pick. Ball boys brought their game today. It's a good sign early. Chris Bryant. He has cooled somewhat. Bryant 0 for 2 yesterday. Walked and had a strikeout in yesterday's game. Still 14 homers, 60 runs batted in. Spent the first couple of weeks of the season in AAA, and yet he is tied with Rizzo for the most RBIs for the Cubs. Great young talent out of Las Vegas, Chris Bryant. Long pause from Loesch, and he'll step off.
Well, the Brewers have been attacking him inside with some pretty good two-seam fastballs. Of course, and Loesch not overpowering. I mean, 90, 91 at best. I mean, the pitches that he's had difficulty with were Taylor Youngman and Jimmy Nelson, you know, mid-90s power sinkers. Fastballs in, sliders down in the dirt has given Bryant problems all year.
So a visit between Lucroy and Loesch. A ball and 2 strikes on Bryant. We got a runner at first. Rizzo. A run is in. And Bryant takes one low. Bryant made the All-Star team this year. In his first year in the big leagues. He's currently 0 for his last 13. He has not recorded a hit in his last 5 games. I'm sure the Cubs are curious to see how he'll come out of this slump. His batting average has been on a decline since mid-June. Still got the power numbers, however. And I think that goes for the rest of the Cubs rookies. So when you look at Chicago and the next 2 months, they're right there in the wild card picture. But they have 4 rookies starting every day, rookie position players, and you just don't know how they're going to hold up. They all have great talent, no question, but there is the unknown out there that they have not been through a major league season, especially one in contention. As Loesch misses, Bryant draws the walk. He'll do that. He leads this Cubs team in walks, and the beat goes for Loesch with 2 on and 2 out. And Soler coming up.
And that's the thing about rookies. I mean, you get off to a pretty good start, but doesn't take long for the league to get a book on you and figure out how to pitch to you. It's going to be important for every rookie, not just Cubs rookies, and to be able to make adjustments, show the league that you're going to be able to do that, and that's how you have staying power in this league, because teams, they learn your stroke very quickly. Gene Segura went through that last year, second half of his rookie season.
Here's Jorge Soler, who made potentially a game-saving catch yesterday. Chris Davis sent one deep to right, and if it goes out, the Brewers would have been within a run, but Soler took a home run away in last night's game. That was a 4-2 final for the Cubs. 2 on 2 out for Soler, and he takes low. And a lot of talk about his bat. Book still out on his defense. but he did get to the wall, and he pulls a home run back.
That big kid got to the wall, jumped straight up, and able to grab it. Would have been a home run. Plays deep, didn't have far to go to get back to the fence. And Jason Mott, after that, got pulled, and he wasn't happy about it. Tommy Hunter came in and picked up the save.
That was Hunter's first game as a Cub. Cubs picked him up from the Orioles. Soler right back to Loesch. Has time to recover, and that will retire the side. It was a bit of a mess, but only 1 run scores, minimizing the damage in the first inning for Loesch. Choice by Anthony Rizzo. There was a walk, a hit batter, a hit in that inning. That cures all wounds right there. Potawatomi batting order for the Brew Crew. Segura, Lucroy, Braun at the top for Craig Counsell. He's got Lynn, Davis, and Herrera in the middle. Shane Peterson's been swinging the bat well. He's back in the lineup in center. And then Hernan Perez and Kyle Loesch rounding out the order. And it's going to be Clayton Richard on the mound for the Chicago Cubs. Might be just a one and done for him. The Cubs are set to activate Dan Herron, who they acquired from the Marlins via trade. He's supposed to pitch Wednesday. So Richard comes up from AAA Iowa. Made one start there. He was with the Pirates to begin the season. And then the Cubs picked him up just a couple of months ago. So here he is in the big leagues. 4th appearance for the Cubs this season.
Yeah, a lot of potential when he came up with the White Sox and Padres. He's had nothing but problems staying healthy since 2013. Had shoulder surgery in 13. Best year for San Diego was 2010. 14-9, a 375 earned run average. And his last full season was 2013, the year that he had surgery at the end of the season.
Facing Jonathan Lucroy here with one away. Lucroy back in the starting lineup tonight, or today. Yesterday was off. Martin Maldonado caught yesterday's game. Lucroy enters in batting .253 today. 3 homers, 23 runs batted in. Missed about 6 weeks with a broken toe at the beginning of the season. After making the All-Star team last year and ultimately the All-Star starter behind the plate. And set a major league record last season for doubles by a catcher. Ground ball right to Russell. And Richard has 2 4-3 groundouts to start his day.
Man, let's check out the Menards Cubs defense here this afternoon at Miller Park. Chris Coughlin, Dexter Fowler, And Jorge Soler in the outfield. Brian Castro, Russell, and Rizzo in the infield. Starlin Castro has 17 errors this year. That's a lot for a shortstop. And Kyle Schwarber behind home plate.
Cubs are below average defensively in most positions. Average or below average, but not there. Second base, Addison Russell. He is a great talent defensively. He's made some nice plays in this series. There's Braun. That's fair. Just inside the bag. And that's going to skip down into the corner. Soler will play it. And Braun is in with a double. Swung at the first pitch. And a 2-out double for Ryan Braun.
And scatter report on Clayton Richard. A lot of fastballs. You're talking 85, 90% fastballs. He used to have a pretty good curveball before he got hurt. There's a fastball, pretty straight outer half, and Ryan Braun does that as well as anybody, taking it to the opposite field on the line. You can see Rizzo playing off the bag, and he doesn't even move when that ball was hit, so a 2-out double. Brewers have actually fared pretty well this year against left-handed starters. They have won 12 of 21 games. That's 12-9 in games started by left-handers this year. That's pretty good for a team way under 500.
Yeah, 44-61 right now, 17 under. So a runner at second for Adam Lind. Brewers have two lefties in the lineup today against Richard, Lind and Peterson. Those two hits for Adam Lind came in last night's game, his last two at-bats. Snapped an 0 for 15 at the plate with those two hits, so maybe that is a sign of things to come. Lind is a pretty streaky hitter. He's put up good numbers this year.
He's been pretty consistent, but before those two hits was really struggling since coming back from that back injury. Missed a couple of games. They need him to get going. They need these veterans to start stepping it up and driving in some runs.
Braun takes off and Lind fouls it away.
And the Brewers have scored only 22 runs in their last 11 games.
And have dropped 9 of those 11. Brewers have lost 4 straight overall. Cubs have won 4 straight. Cubs have won 5 of 6 as well. They won a series against the Padres, or rather the Rockies, and then they've won the first 3 in this series. Lind, a swing and a miss. Richard strikes him out, and a scoreless start for Clayton Richard. He's just glad to be back in the big leagues. We head to the second.
Up 1-0 as we head to the second inning and head to the ballpark this Friday night as the Brewers take on division rival St. Louis Cardinals, and you get a free retro Brewers t-shirt courtesy of Orbis Corporation. Call 414-902-4000 We'll go to Brewers.com for tickets.
Cute kid. A lot of families here at the ballpark here today at Miller Park. Watching the Brewers and the Cubs. Loesch back out for his second inning of work, giving up a run in the first. Anthony Rizzo with his 8th run batted in of the series for the Cubs. Starlin Castro leads away, then Richard the pitcher, and then Addison Russell. Joe Madden has his pitcher batting 8th. Once again today, all 4 games of this series. Castro glad the trading deadline has come and gone. A lot of rumors that he would be moved at the deadline. So much so that the Cubs had to let Castro know he was not going to be traded. Told him, look, you're going to be with us. I would be curious to know if the Cubs were shopping Castro and just didn't like what they were getting in return, or if they just wanted to settle with him as the shortstop the rest of the year. Fly ball center field. Peterson coming on to make the catch. Well, he's a little out of position. The Brewers trading Parra and Gomez. So Peterson has moved into that center field role. It's a position he's rarely played, and he's looked good out there.
Well, the bat plays. I mean, you got Logan Schaefer who came up from the minor leagues, and Peterson has been one of the more consistent bats for Craig Counsell since he's come up. He's started 3 consecutive games now in center field. A team that is desperate for offense. You got to keep the guys in the lineup that are swinging the bat.
Here's the pitcher, Clayton Richard. Pretty good hitting pitcher if memory serves, and that ball is in the air to center. Routine for Peterson, and there is out number 2 for Kyle Loesch. Loesch could use a quick inning here. He was pushing 30 pitches in the first inning. He'll face Addison Russell. Cubs scored all 4 of their runs yesterday with 2 outs. 2 big swings of the bat by Rizzo and Kyle Schwarber. Each with home runs in yesterday's game.
Yeah, Schwarber took Blazek deep in yesterday's ball game. First home run that Blazek's given up this year. That's how good he's been.
In the air, center field, hit well. Peterson going back, looking up, goodbye. Solo home run, Addison Russell. Cubs lead 2-0.
Yeah, that pitch outer half of the plate. Russell able to wait back and hook it. He hit that a ton into center field. That was off the batter's eye out there, and Kyle Loesch has now given up 25 home runs, and his struggles at Miller Park continue this year.
Russell with number 7. Getting power out of that 9th spot in the order. Fowler gets jammed. Slow roller. Got to hurry this one. Perez. Good play. And the inning ends. But the Cubs strike. And the home run ball bites Kyle Loesch once again. This time Addison Russell to make it 2-0.
Toyota. The Cubs with an early 2-0 lead. Chris Davis getting ready to lead off the second inning here, and he's one of the young players with something to prove for Craig Counsell and the Brewers. Counsell talking about Davis, talking about last season, Davis made 549 plate appearances. So he said that's a good sample size to evaluate. He said it tells you he's getting regular at-bats. He's seeing everybody, so it's not necessarily a matchup hitter. And the sample size has been smaller for Davis this year with the meniscus injury, 221. But Davis looking to take advantage of the AB's left here as he gets regular playing time.
Well, and Sophia, the trade sending Gerardo Parra to Baltimore certainly opens the door for Davis, because when he came back from the knee injury, the way Parra was swinging the bat, I mean, you had to keep Parra in the lineup in left field on most days, and so that meant Davis was kind of back in a role player, but that's not going to be the case the rest of the way. Davis will get a lot of playing time, and let's hope he can get his confidence back, get back to form. Richard facing Elian Herrera.
He's had some near misses since coming back from that injury, and we talked about the near miss yesterday to right field, and that ball carried pretty well out there in the gap in right center. He's getting good carry on the baseball, just missing enough to keep it in the ballpark. Actually, Davis, as he has continued here in his career, has been a lot more patient at the plate now than he was when he came up. Starting to walk a little bit more.
Well, same goes for Elian Herrera as well. He's back up from the minor leagues. Brewers took him off the 40-man roster. He accepted his assignment to AAA, and then thinking he might have a chance to play his way back to the big leagues, and he has done so.
Yeah, switch hitter that can play anywhere. So very good flexibility for Counsell off the bench, and give him a start against a left-hander. Give Jeanette the day off. You would figure at some point Craig Counsell is going to allow Jeanette to start getting at bats against lefties. At some point you need to do that to see if he's going to be that kind of hitter. Didn't get any opportunities last year, really, with Ricky Weeks around. See if he can do it.
Yeah, might as well find out now. Jeanette's eager to do it, but not on this day for Craig Counsell. Herrera fouls it away.
And putting his best 9 out there to try and get a win, especially you've got a losing streak going. The Brewers need to get some wins, score some runs, and Counsell putting the right-hander in. Herrera, the switch hitter, batting right-hander against Richard today.
Here's a 2-2, down and in. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Clayton Richard was a football player at Michigan. He's built like a football player. He's takes that aggressive mentality. He's a very fast worker. He was under the tutelage of Mark Burley when they were together with the Chicago White Sox. Prior to Clayton Richard being traded to the Padres, he was in that Jake Peavy deal.
Pitcher barely has time to put down the sign. He started his windup before Schwarber even finished giving a sign. Had to step off. Does anybody work faster than Mark Burley?
I don't think so.
I mean, Burley might be the fastest of all time, one of the fastest.
You can tell Richard he wants to get the pace going a little bit. As Herrera into right field, that's going to fall a base hit. So Elian singles. Second hit for the Brewers off Richard, and a base runner with 1 man out.
Good approach, fastball middle away, and hits it hard into right field. You ever notice most of your really fast working starting pitchers are left-handed? You know, guys like Cliff Lee. I mean, Jim Cott, he worked very quickly. I think we should do a study on that. We get somebody on that.
We're going to the rock metrics on pace pitchers. That is one area of the game. I think if you're a pitcher and you're coming up in the minor leagues, or if you're an amateur player right now, the pace in which you pitch is so important. One thing, it shows that you're committed and you're ready to make pitches and you're not waffling on the mound. The other thing, it keeps your defenders on their toes when the game has pace to it and is crisp.
Keeps them engaged. Yeah.
It's meant to be played that way. It's tough to stand around. You think about these position players, you might not get a ball for a half an hour or an hour. You may go an entire game without getting a ball hit to you.
Well, a lot of it has to do too with what you're just talking about, keeping fielders engaged. Hitters are responsible for that too. There's some guys that refuse to swing until they have 2 strikes. Taking pitches, working counts, getting pitch counts up.
Shane Peterson into left center. Boy, he just keeps on hitting. Herrera's making a big turn. He'll retreat now. Shane Peterson's been impressive. There's a lot of talk about guys who are getting opportunities. Guys like Davis and Herrera and Hernan Perez, Logan Schaefer. But this guy is earning his playing time right now. He's now 9 for 17 against left-handed pitchers this season. Great numbers, over 500 against lefties.
Yep, hangs right in there, doesn't try and do too much, not trying to pull the baseball, and been a good story, really has.
Brewers got Peterson from the Cubs. He's taken off the Cubs major league roster this offseason, and the Brewers snatched him up. 2 on, 1 away. Here is Perez. Perez is an aggressive hitter. First ball strike swinger typically. Doesn't matter if it's a fastball or a breaking ball. He's in a big spot right here. You got the pitcher coming up next. Chance to play run producer and get the Brewers on the board. Snap throw to first, almost into right field. Good play by Rizzo.
Yeah, very nimble of foot. Anthony Rizzo, big guy, but handled himself pretty well. Not only catching it, but not stepping right on top of Peterson as he dove into first base. That would have been a problem for Shane Peterson.
Ooh, yeah, good call. It's a kinder, gentler game these days, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking back in your day and then before. You were going to land on somebody just for the sport of it.
Yeah. Dig your cleats right in their arm.
Sorry, pal. Couldn't help it.
Hang with them.
1-2 to Perez. Down and in, gets away from Schwarber. Both runners will advance. And that's the part of Schwarber's game the Cubs would like to see improve. That's one of the reasons they were keeping him in the minor leagues, to work on his skills behind the plate. But his bat is big league ready, and the Cubs are willing to endure some of this.
Yeah, it was a slider. Should have been at least knocked down. Wasn't that bad a pitch.
Goes as a wild pitch, but any catcher worth his salt would tell you he should have made that block, especially when you know it's coming. So second and third now with 1 away. And a base hit could tie this one up. Perez toward the middle. Castro's got it, spins and throws him out. A run scores. Herrera's in on the ground out by Perez. Nice play out there by Starlin Castro to get the second out of the inning.
He does have a flair for the dramatic. He's got all the tools. It's focused sometimes on the routine play. And not sure why Shane Peterson didn't go to third base. That ball hit behind him. And maybe wasn't sure it was going to be caught in the line, but Hernan Perez with 2 strikes able to drive in a run.
His 5th RBI as a Brewer, and now Kyle Lohse. Lohse is a pretty good hitter. He has 8 hits this year. He's been used as a pinch hitter on a few occasions and a pinch runner.
Man, that was back in the days when the Brewers had a very short bench. They went through a stretch where they had 3 on the bench. The Cubs are in that situation here today.
Now the Cubs activating Clayton Richard and designating for assignment their 3rd catcher, Taylor Teagarden. So very short bench today. Loesch, little flare pop up in foul grounds. Rizzo's got it, and the inning is over. But the Brewers get one back. 2-1 Cubs. Perez with an RBI. We're headed to the 3rd inning. Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. By Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by Hupy and Abraham. 800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. Cubs lead 2-1. We head to the top of the 3rd inning, and we remind you that you can vote for your MVP and help us decide which Fox Sports Supports partner will be crowned the winner. The charity with the most votes at the end of the Brewer season will score big with a donation from Hupy and Abraham SC. Choose from American Heart Association of Wisconsin, Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Milwaukee, or Fisher House, Wisconsin. And to vote, visit foxsportswisconsin.com/supports. Great crowd on a Sunday afternoon. Sunday fun day here at Miller Park. And Loesch gets ahead of Kyle Schwarber. Speaking of fun day, it's a birthday today for Jeff Levering. There you go. Happy birthday to the Brewers. Oh, here he is. He's in the booth.
How about that? What's a coincidence, isn't it? He'd be sitting here when he knew we were going to be talking about him.
He's kind of coming in, you know. I think he's pining for a birthday mention. I'm not sure.
31.
He's 32. 32.
Wow. Getting old. He's officially fantasy camp eligible.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Got to be 30, right?
Right.
And now leave it to you to work in a fantasy camp promo while we're trying to shine the light on our boy over here.
I'm not going to be left out.
That's Brewers.com/fantasy camp, by the way. So happy birthday to Jeff Levering. Yeah. We'll see him again. I don't know when, maybe in September or something. You better get back over in the radio booth. You're going to be missed. Also want to say happy birthday to our technical director, Lindsay. Schwarber rolls to Lind. He flips to Loesch. And there is out number 1.
How did you know it was Lindsay's birthday?
I keep it on my calendar.
Do you? Everybody?
Yeah, everybody on the crew.
Wow.
Except you, because you and I have an agreement.
Right. We're sticking to it.
Birthdays are overrated. Except, I mean, for us, you know, for other people, it's fine.
Yeah, at this point, you know, rather not having even mention it.
So happy birthday, Lindsay. One of the great technical directors in the game.
Yeah.
And we're glad she's on our team and our great crew here in Milwaukee. Some of the best technicians in all of sports. Makes working here a blast.
And you realize that more and more when you travel around the different cities. Not that those folks aren't good, but it's good to get home to the folks we're used to and see every day. Big happy family here at Miller Park.
Yep, and we're all going to be going over to Rock's house at some point this summer. We're all just waiting on the invitation for that, and we'll look forward to that big party.
It's coming. You didn't get the invite?
I didn't, not yet. So I'd like to be a part of that if possible this year. Misses low to Coughlin. I'd prefer you not schedule the big group parties when I'm out of town. I know that was on purpose.
Oh, that's right. You know what? I did extend the invite to Matt LePay. I'm sorry.
There's a base hit to left. Coughlin singles on a 2-strike pitch from Loesch. And that's going to bring up Anthony Rizzo now with a man on and 1 out. Rizzo driving in a run on a fielder's choice his last time up. Carshoot.com trivia: who was the last Cubs hitter to hit home runs in 5 consecutive games? Rizzo has hit homers in 4 straight after not homering in 17 consecutive games prior to this stretch.
Maybe Sammy?
That's a good guess.
Andre Dawson, maybe?
Keith Moreland.
Leon Durham.
Perhaps Aramis Ramirez.
Yeah. Maybe Ryan Theriot. You just don't know. Remember the riot?
The riot. Ryan Theriot. Wonder where he's at these days. Big swing by Rizzo. Right on it, just under it. Loesch snatching that ball back from Lucroy. I don't think he liked where that one ended up. Knows he got away with one.
Yeah. Rizzo hasn't missed too many good pitches to hit in this series.
8 runs batted in. This is game 4. Shift is on. 1 out. Loesch got Rizzo to bounce to the right side his last time up, and in a normal defensive configuration that's a routine double play, but it was anything but in this defensive alignment, and Rizzo was able to beat the throw to first. That allowed a run to score instead of an inning ending double play. Runner goes. Rizzo pulls one foul. Man, it's amazing that Rizzo is able to get the bat head on a ball that far inside. I think that might have hit him. And he pulls one off the Brewers dugout. Loesch has done a good job working inside on him thus far. If you can get him thinking inside, then Loesch with his changeup might have a weapon against him. Lucroy sets up out there. There is the changeup. And into center field it goes. Peterson runs it down.
Good location on that changeup going away from Rizzo. And an easy fly out to center.
It's good pitching for Loesch. He's had a couple of good sequences against Anthony Rizzo here today. The Vulcan changeup that he throws.
Changeup down and away. He doesn't like it out there. Look at the way he reaches for that baseball, and that ball on the corner. You might think that ball was 6 inches outside the way he went after it. Doesn't like it away like that.
And he still hits it into medium deep right center with that off balance one-handed swing. 2 outs. Here's Bryant. He walked his last time up. He strikes out a lot, but he walks a lot, does Chris Bryant. This guy looks like a star in the making. Once he gets around the league a little bit. Huge power. He had a walk-off home run this past Monday against Colorado. Coghlan goes again. Lucroy's throw is low. Herrera keeps it in the infield. A stolen base for Chris Coghlan. Runner at second with 2 outs. His 10th of the year.
Got a pretty good jump off of Loesch. And the last thing you're worried about is a base runner. You're facing guys like Bryant and Rizzo. I mean, you're concentrating so much on making good pitches. A lot of times you forget about the base runners, and Coghlan took advantage of it.
One ball, 2 strikes on Bryant. Missed with a fastball. Loesch has an assortment of breaking pitches, but Craig Counsell earlier today, when asked about Kyle Loesch and his effectiveness, Sophia asked him how he can improve and start to get results, and Counsell talked about his fastball. He's got to establish his fastball. That's a little cutter on this outside corner for a called strike 3. Bryant is out. Loesch puts up a scoreless inning. 2-1. Cubs lead the Brewers. Brew Crew coming up. Top of the order. We go to the bottom of the third.
Park, and a reminder that all season long, kids 14 and under and seniors 60 and over can get half price tickets to all midweek day games at Miller Park, including this Thursday afternoon as the Brewers take on the San Diego Padres. For tickets, go to brewers.com/fan values.
Brewers coming up, bottom third, down a run. Top of the order, Gene Segura leads off against Clayton Richard. Segura bounced to second base in the first inning. He's trying to fight his way out of a slump as well. It's a team slump. The Brewers all hit at the same time, and most of them are not hitting at the same time. Looks like a completely different offense than what we saw the last time the Brewers were at Miller Park.
Yeah, the 3 guys the Brewers traded, Ramirez, Gomez, Parra. You look at the statistics. You've got Braun and Lind. And Braun with 63 RBIs. Lind with 60. Next closest, 29, Gene Segura. Losing a lot of offense in those trades.
Segura hits it hard, but Soler plays deep and able to run it down for the first out. That's the way it's going for Segura. He hit that right off the barrel. He's 0 for 2. 1 away in the third inning. Here is Lucroy. Lucroy is going along pretty well here recently throughout the month of July as we enter into the month of August. Lucroy in his last 26 games, which essentially covers the entire month of July, a .307 hitter during that stretch. He's looking like his old self once again, hitting with some power. A lot of doubles in that stretch.
Yeah, pretty good road trip for Lucroy in Arizona and San Francisco. Hit almost 400, 385. He was 10 for 26.
Since coming back from the DL, he's hitting .280. Has not had the kind of power numbers we saw, the doubles, after his record-setting year last year in that category. Down the right field line, slicing. Soler gives it a look. It is foul. Hit the side wall down there. And it's 0-2 on Lucroy. It's a cool place to watch a game out there in the ATI zone. See those bricks? Those bricks are from County Stadium back there. So they had all these bricks when they tore the stadium down. Wanted to keep a little bit of County Stadium in Miller Park, and that's where they decided to put them. County Stadium bricks still alive and well here at Miller Park.
I've got one at home.
Oh, is that right?
Got one of the seats from County Stadium. Gave it to my dad. He's got it.
Nice. Chair back seat.
Lord knows he spent enough time in one of those seats at County Stadium.
Probably feels right at home in that
probably
seat.
The one he had. Yeah. The grand old ballpark. It was time to go, though. Look what we have now.
Yeah, it served a great purpose, County Stadium. Matter of fact, County Stadium's place in baseball history is significant for the two teams that went west, and specifically the Dodgers, because once the O'Malley family saw that they were drawing huge crowds, over 2 million, as Lucroy strikes out for the second out of the inning. Once the O'Malley saw that they could draw over 2 million fans in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in the middle of the United States, just imagine what we could draw in Los Angeles. And that's why that they decided to move from Brooklyn to Los Angeles. And then the Dodgers needed another team to go with them, and the Giants went with them in 1958. So County Stadium had a major role, and the kind of crowds that were coming in to watch the Milwaukee Braves had a major role in that expansion west. Going to have another crowd here today, around 40,000. Impressive. A lot of Cubs fans here. That's to be expected. Cubs are in a pennant race, contending.
There's always a lot of Brewers fans at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, it's been the same at Wrigley over the last few years, with the Cubs rebuilding and the Brewers in contention in a couple of those seasons. And sounds more like Miller Park than Wrigley Field at times.
It all depends on who's scoring runs, who's winning. Brewers fans haven't had a whole lot to cheer about in this series. Cub fans, they've been cheering for Anthony Rizzo. That's been pretty much it.
That's right. 8 runs batted in this series. He's got a lot of fans out there. 1-1 pitch to Braun. Down and in. Ryan had a double his first time up. He just punched one inside the bag at first base. Trickled down into the corner. Braun rips one to left, a base hit. That one goes to the wall, and Braun on his way to second with his second double of the day.
Didn't just punch that one, did he? Well, he shows you can use the whole field, right? I mean, a double down the line in right, a double down the line in left. Clayton Richard very fortunate that ball didn't end up out of the ballpark. Ryan Braun, a pitch up and in, and hammers it, able to get on top of that one just like he did on the double to right. Holds those hands high, and look at the way he gets extension and barrels it up. Hit that one hard.
That's the spray chart for Ryan Braun. Pretty balanced. So he's at second for Adam Lind. Brewers down a run. Lind struck out his last time up. Cubs calling up Clayton Richard to make this start here today. His last outing was at AAA Iowa. Went 7 shutout innings in that start. There's a wave and a miss off speed pitch. Lind's on our Powerball home run leaderboard. He has 16 this year. Ryan Braun with 19. And losing some power, losing Ramirez and Gomez and Gerardo Parra.
Ryan Braun's got the last 3 Brewers home runs.
Braun takes off. Lind swings and fouls it again.
That was a huge jump. He had that one stolen easily.
That's twice that Braun has had an easy steal in front of him. Lind has fouled the pitch off. It happened in the last at bat as well. When you run with 2 outs, you just have to know you're going to make it. Obviously, Braun would have made it with ease.
Yeah, get a good jump off the pitcher. A lot of times you get a better jump at second base. Plus you have Chris Bryant way off the line. It would be tough for him to get over there and make a tag.
Here's the 1-2, and that's back up the middle, knocking it down. Castro throw from his backside is not in time. Lind is safe. Snap throw to third. Braun is back.
Yeah, pretty good effort out there by Starlin Castro. He's on the top of his game defensively in this series.
Joe Madden wants to take a look at it, alerting the umpires. What a great play this was. Saves a run right there, and then throws from his rear end. Rizzo, I don't know. This is going to be close.
Yeah, they're going to take a look at it. Why not, right? Yep, they're going to ask for the headsets. This is a good angle on it right here. Does he have his foot on the bag? Looks pretty close.
Call on the field is safe. Is there enough to overturn it? Madden wants a review.
What a great stretch by Rizzo. That's how you take advantage of the entire base to stretch. I mean, completely on the outfield side of the bag, and you can't do it much better than that. It looks like he does have the toe on the bag and the glove around the baseball.
There's a good look at it. So Madden challenges, and this could end the inning. Fans just seeing that on the big screen. Here's another good look to see if his that one's tough to tell if his cleats are on the base or not. You know, it's really hard to see whether his foot's on the bag or not from that third angle. The calling umpire is David Rackley. He's the one facing us. The crew chief is Hunter Wendelstedt, and he'll be the one to make the call. So what do we have here? Safe. Wow. So Madden will lose the challenge. You know, Joe Madden's upset. I think that last, you cannot argue a review. Joe Madden's going to be ejected here if he goes out to argue. And out he goes. Madden gets ejected. You just can't do it.
Yeah, you can't argue the results of a review. And well, it certainly looked on a couple of replays like Rizzo had his foot on the bag, but not the case in New York. Wow.
Yeah, these calls are made at the Replay Challenge Center in New York. They are not made by the 4 umpires here. So the rule is, and there's very little leeway with it. If you argue,
because who do you argue with? You're not arguing with the guy that made the decision.
yeah, you
right?
might as well go put the headsets on and start yelling into those.
Well, that's going to happen at some point.
So Madden, and to Hunter Wendelstedt's credit, he gave him a couple of opportunities to vent a little bit, and then he threw him out.
Yeah.
Umpires are very clear about this with managers. You cannot argue.
That's a surprise that he was. That call was confirmed. Safe at first base. A couple angles looked like he was out, but just remember that the umpires have angles that we do not have, and right there, it certainly does look like that toe's on the bag. And that's what Joe Madden said, timeout. Well, timeout was already called. The bench can't believe it.
And Joe Madden said, what happened? And then once he reacted to the call, he was ejected. So Madden is out. Lind is safe. First and third for Chris Davis, and a liner right to Castro to end the inning.
After all that, man.
That's the way it's going for Milwaukee right now. They come up empty. 2-1 Cubs. Brewers Cubs at Miller Park. The great Hank Aaron statue out in front of Miller Park. One of the 4 that are out there, along with Bob Uecker and Robin Yount and Bud Selig. So Loesch back to work. Wild inning in the bottom of the 3rd. Joe Madden goes to a challenge, and it looked like Rizzo was able to keep his foot on the bag, but they didn't see it that way in the Replay Challenge Center in New York. And an automatic ejection when you argue a call from replay, and Joe Madden ejected for the 4th time. And there's a line drive base hit. Soler into right center. So a single to start the inning for Jorge Soler.
I mean, that really is a good rule. I mean, you start arguing about, the results of a review. Who are you arguing to? I mean, you're not arguing to the guy that's made the decision. You go out there, you sit there and have a chat with him and wonder. All you're doing is wasting time. It's not like it's going to mean anything. And he did let him, have his say. He walked out there, did the timeout thing, and said a few things. If he stopped there, it would have been all right. Got to be frustrating for managers, though, if you think about it. I mean, you see everybody up on the scoreboard. Everybody in the ballpark thought he was out. had a different opinion in New York.
You know, the one angle from third base was the one that gave me a little hesitation there. The first two, it looked clearly that his foot was on the bag, but then when you see it from the third base side, it looked like Rizzo's foot was off the base. And to his credit, David Rackley, the first base umpire, he was right there on it. So he's going to be able to see better than replay whether there's space between the foot or not. There's a base hit. Starlin Castro reaches out, punches one into right center, and the Cubs, with 2 hits to start this 4th inning, have them at the corners with nobody out.
How about those 2 hits? Little flares out in the right field. And Kyle Loesch making a couple of pretty good pitches, but the Cubs able to turn them into base hits. A couple of one-handed swings end up as base hits against Kyle Loesch.
Cubs with 5 hits now, scoring runs in each of the first 2 innings. Rizzo drove in one with the fielder's choice in the first, and then Russell hit a home run to center in the 2nd inning. Russell's due up next. Here's Clayton Richard. 1st and 3rd, nobody out. And the runner goes. Castro. Lucroy's throw goes through the tag and out at 2nd.
Why, what was that?
They caught stealing. Soler staying put at 3rd. And the Brewers, fortunate, they come away with an out.
That looked like a hit and run that was botched. I'm not sure what that was with Castro. He didn't really take off very quickly in the beginning. He's limping a little bit. Check this out. I mean, not exactly at full speed. He's looking in as though he's expecting, Richard to swing the bat, but it's clearly probably a bunting situation. That was a strange play.
And there's a pop-up. This is going to be a tough play. Long run. Herrera cannot make the play, but a foul ball. Great effort by Elian Herrera. And fortunate for the Brewers, that was foul. So 1 ball, 1 strike on Richard. Not by much.
Yeah, about 6 inches, maybe a foot. Good effort, though, by Herrera. He went a long way. I think Starlin Castro thought that a steal was on, but it was a bunt sign. It had to be.
Had to be, because you run into an out here. The pitcher's at the plate. And for Kyle Loesch, there's a way out of this inning.
Right.
He's sitting there 1st and 3rd with nobody out. If he retires the pitcher, albeit a pretty good hitting pitcher.
That whole thing didn't make sense.
1 ball, 1 strike. And there's a spinner in there for a strike. Little slider, cut fastball from Loesch. Richard can run, by the way. He's fast. So you gotta, if there's a slow chopper somewhere, you got to pay attention and get it over to first base. And he slaps one fair. Base hit. Opposite field RBI for Richard, on his way to 2nd now with a double. And the Cubs lead 3-1. And that's the last thing that Loesch needed right there. A double and an RBI. The first 3 hitters have hits in this inning against Kyle Loesch.
And watch where the pitch is. It's up, it's out over the plate, and that's about as easy a pitch for a pitcher to handle. Something out over the plate at about upper 80s, and just out of the reach though of Perez. He was in. That's why he wasn't able to get the glove up. He's back a little bit. He's probably going to be able to snare that line drive.
Now Addison Russell, who homered off Loesch in the 2nd. Russell with his 7th home run of the season. Ground ball backhanded by Segura, and a long throw is a good one. Russell is out. 2 outs in the inning. So just to clean it up, by the way, the official ruling comes from the Major League Baseball Replay Challenge Center that the call was confirmed, and that the replay confirmed that Rizzo did not have his foot on the base. So I'm just guessing that they had another look that we did not. They do have their own cameras here, and they use the replays from Cubs television as well, and all of our replays. So.
That's what it had to be, because what we saw, certainly looked like he was out. They have other angles. They look at it, many different ways, and it was obvious in New York. Not to Joe Madden, though.
Fowler takes one low. And the language is important there. If they come back and they say the call stands, that means that there's not enough evidence to overturn it. So you hear that a lot. If they say it's confirmed, then that pretty much tells you that they saw on replay Rizzo's foot not on the base. Yeah, this 3-year plan to unveil replay. It's had a few tweaks. It's getting better and better. It's really done a good job for the most part. It really showed well in the playoffs too last season. I was curious to see how it would be executed, but a lot more cameras, a lot more angles, and there really wasn't many incidents at all in the postseason last year. What is going to be interesting, though, is as you get into the postseason, and if you have a scenario where a manager like this wants to debate or is not happy with the call, and you get a quick hook in the postseason, that could change things.
Well, that's on the manager then.
Yeah, managers got to know. You have to, because that's the way these umpires are calling it. We saw Brian Pena be ejected very similar fashion, the Reds catcher. And he had his mask on. You didn't even know he was arguing, but he was, and he got ejected. Kind of a surprise ejection. There's a called strike 3. Fowler, he is rung up, doesn't like the call. He's out. Inning over. Cubs get a run. Their pitcher drives him in. On a Sunday afternoon, it is now time for you to tweet us your strongest fan photo. Don't forget, use the hashtag WisDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It is all brought to you by T-Mobile. Let's had some fun with that. Clayton Richard is having a good day so far. He's called up from the minor leagues to pitch today. He probably knows as well as anyone that he's headed back to the minor leagues, barring injury. But he wants to pitch well enough to stay here. Began the year with the Pirates. Cubs purchased his contract in early July from the Pirates.
Well, if it's not the Cubs, maybe somebody else taking a look at him and maybe might take a shot.
It's a good lesson for all of us. You're always on audition. Every day is a job interview. We're watching you closely today, Rock.
I would expect nothing else.
Now that you're an esteemed Wall of Honor member.
By the way, I did confirm that the plaque is out there.
Oh, on the actual Wall of Honor?
Yeah, I had
what we've called the Wall of Honor here in the booth.
Right. Well, I got a couple of text messages from friends saying it's out there. They've seen it.
Well, we'll have to get out there and confirm that for ourselves. But either way, it's well represented here in the booth, the Bill Schroeder booth. Sophia has confirmed it as well, which almost makes it 100%.
Now, have you been out there at all? You have not, have you? Nice partner you are.
You know, I was thinking about going out there, planning on that.
But you had to clean out your closet?
Right. There's a lot of things I needed to do. I had a couple of roses I was going to put out there. And yeah, Herrera strikes out. And a throw to first just in time to secure the strikeout. Good play by Schwarber. He didn't block it, but at least he recovered in time to make the play. And a strikeout for Clayton Richard, his third of the game.
That Wall of Honor is a neat thing. I mean, I've been out there a couple of times and taking a look at some of the players that have been put on the wall. What was it, 50 last year were put on the Wall of Honor? Jerry Augustine's plaque's up there.
Who are your Wall of Honor neighbors out there?
Craig Counsell.
Oh, that's a good one.
And Bill Hall.
Bill Hall. Very nice. He had some nice years here in Milwaukee.
Yep.
Shane Peterson, a swing and a miss.
It's a great honor. I'm very appreciative of it.
Oh, we're proud of you. But did you get like a parking spot or a watch or anything like that? Or?
No, I get that when my partner actually goes out there and sees the plaque. I would have expected you to be one of the first.
I got some of Magic Eraser. I was kind of waiting for a little bit of vandalism, and I was going to go out there and clean it up. But so far, everybody's left the plaque alone. Or a spotlight. That's the other thing I was thinking about doing.
Now we're thinking about that in here in the booth.
Yeah, put a big spotlight on it, and maybe a little shrine.
Right.
That'd be nice.
Never turn the light off either. It's like the American flag.
Right. Peterson, jam shot roller out to Castro for the second out. That'll bring up Hernan Perez. Well, the Cubs are headed to Pittsburgh after the game today. That's going to be a showdown series with the Pirates. And Joe Maddon's got it lined up with some of his best starters. And his newest starter, Dan Herron, who threw a side session today here in Milwaukee. Saw Dan Herron out there working hard. He's got Lester going tomorrow, Jake Arrieta Tuesday in Pittsburgh, and then Dan Herron. Pitching has not been a problem, especially starting pitching for the Cubs. Matter of fact, their starters had an ERA, combined ERA of 2.87 in the month of July.
Yeah.
And Lester was the best of the bunch. His ERA was 1.66 in July. Pop up, foul territory. Rizzo will watch it into the seats.
Yeah, the Cubs rank 5th in earned run average when you talk about starters and relievers throughout the season. Their problem's been scoring runs, 11th in runs scored, next to last in batting average. That might be their undoing. That's where all their youth shows up.
Well, they do have a big bat coming back in Miguel Montero. He's been out with a thumb injury. It's his catching thumb. which can present some problems for a catcher. So he's beginning a minor league rehab today, I believe, for the Cubs, and then that'll make an interesting decision for Joe Maddon. He did say that Kyle Schwarber's hit enough to remain in the big leagues. Perez to right, and that will retire the side. So Richard, a shutdown inning after he drove in a run in the fourth. 3-1 Cubs. We're on our way to the fifth.
Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. It's a 3-1 lead for the Cubs here in the fifth, and you can join Baker Tilly, Jeremy Jeffress, and the Brewers Community Foundation as they go to bat for the Guest House of Milwaukee on August 18th as the Brewers face the Marlins right here at Miller Park. The ticket package includes 10 Gale Club tickets, full buffet, 2 glasses of beer or wine per guest, and an authentic autographed baseball signed by Jeffress. You can purchase your corporate support package by calling 414-902-HOPE today.
All right, Sophia, thanks. Here we go to the fifth inning. Loesch and the Brewers down 3-1 to the Cubs as Kyle Schwarber will lead off. Already his third at bat. Cubs have 6 hits today. Loesch has hit a batter and has issued a walk. 3 runs in on those 6 hits. Schwarber with a base hit. Well, this guy has impressed. A couple of hits last night. On base for the second time today. He's 1 out of 2.
Well, he does have a nice short compact swing. You can see why he's got such a good on base percentage, and waits back. Not a guy that's going to strike out a whole lot, which is important in this lineup because everybody else seems to punch out quite a bit. Stays right on the baseball.
So Chris Coughlin now with Rizzo on deck. And a ground ball through, base hit. Cubs are going up there aggressive, swinging early, and they are coming up with a lot of hits against Loesch. That is number 8.
You wonder when Craig Counsell is going to get that bullpen busy. Pitch count at 80 right now for Kyle Loesch. Oh, stirring right now, as a matter of fact.
Coughlin with 2 hits and a line drive out. Here's Rizzo now. And our Carsoup.com trivia: who was the last Cubs hitter to hit home runs in 5 straight games? The last one to do it was Sammy Sosa back in '98. That was that great year he and McGuire had in the steroid era. Ryne Sandberg did it in 1989. Hall of Fame second baseman. And any Cubs hitting stat wouldn't be complete without a Hack Wilson reference.
You got to go way back, right?
Hack Wilson had home runs in 5 straight games for the Cubs in 1930. Hack Wilson stood all of 5 foot 5 inches tall and about 5 foot 5 inches wide. I want to check out some impressive offensive numbers. Hack Wilson, man, he had some amazing years. He drove in 191 runs one year. That was that year, 1930, that he had the home runs in 5 straight games. Rizzo swings and foul tips it into the middle. Lucroy for a strikeout.
Another off-speed pitch by Los. It's been giving Rizzo fits today. He flew out his last time out on a changeup, and Los able to get him on another off-speed pitch, another changeup. This time up in the strike zone, but Rizzo out in front. And maybe that's the pitch to get him on, the changeup. He's been hitting fastballs and sliders.
2 on, 1 away. Here's Bryant. Bryant has walked and struck out. Loesch got him looking in the 3rd inning. 2 things that Bryant does a lot of: walk and strike out. He also hits a lot of homers. Second on the Cubs team in home runs with 14 as Loesch puts a fastball in there for a strike.
Young power hitters ordinarily very streaky. You go into stretches where you can't get them out, and there's periods of time where they can't buy a hit. Good pitch to hit right there. Just got a piece of it. Normally, if he's going good, he's going to hit that somewhere hard out in the gap, maybe hit it out of the ballpark. This entire offense for the Cubs seems to be very streaky.
Loesch has him in a hole, 1-2. Cubs have 2 on, and Bryant takes a ball. Cubs did a lot of losing for 4 years, getting very high draft picks. Bryant was one of them. He was the number 2 overall pick in 2013, and Schwarber was the number 4 overall pick last year. The year Bryant was drafted 2 years ago, that was the year Mark Appel went first overall by the Astros. Did not sign that year, so
coming up the first one. Really coming up quickly.
He was a college player too. He played his college ball at San Diego, so had some experience on him. Cubs figured he'd be quick rise to the big leagues, and he has been. 2-2 on the way, and a line drive, little soft liner into center, base hit. They're going to send the runner Schwarber. Here's the throw from Peterson, cut off, throw to second, and safe there. Bryant drives in a run, advances to second. It's 4-1 Cubs as Bryant, with his first hit of the series, snaps an 0 for 14 at the plate.
Man, good throw by Shane Peterson, hitting the cutoff man just a little bit late. You know, Chris Bryant never slowed down around first base. Craig Counsell wants to take a look at it. Always hit the cutoff man, and he did that. Like Lynn, a little bit slow to get the ball to Segura, and let's see if Bryant gets a hand in there. Looks like he did.
Yeah, Brewers should have had it out there.
Yeah.
Got to make a good throw. That's an easy out right in front of him, but Lynn's throw was high.
And took a little bit too long to get it to second base. That's surprising. Craig Counsell's going to go to the replay. Certainly, well, we were fooled before with the last one.
So the second challenge of the game, the first one resulted in Joe Maddon's ejection when he argued the call, or at least displayed frustration with the call. What if Chris Bryant's injured out there? The Cubs third base coach Gary Jones is calling the athletic trainer out as we go through this challenge.
Now, the first replay we saw, it looked like Bryant got his hand in there before Segura dropped the tag. But apparently the Brewers replay group in the clubhouse saw something different. It would certainly be a big reversal for Kyle Loesch and the Brewers. Let's check it out. Throws a little bit high. Segura quick with the tag, and looks like Segura got the tag on the helmet, and this might be a better look at it.
Question is there enough evidence to overturn the call? And the call on the field is safe, and Bryant is shaken up. Dave Martinez, Madden's bench coach, who's running the team right now, is out there as well.
Not sure what it is. Maybe a wrist. Maybe it looks like they're looking at him. Maybe got dizzy with the way the tag was slapped on the helmet.
So this is turning into a long review here. A challenge by Craig Counsell and the Brewers. Call of safe on the field. The calling umpire was Hunter Wendelstedt. He's also the crew chief. And they're looking at the multiple replays on the big board here, but no word from New York at this point. First challenge took 1 minute and 10 seconds. This goes back to one of the things we've discussed throughout the year with challenges. If you really can't tell after 90 seconds, then it can't possibly be conclusive enough to overturn it. I mean, if you're looking at all these angles and you still don't know,
right,
then it's hard to overturn a call in a situation like this. The call of safe it is. I would imagine this is going to be the language as stands, which it is. And so Counsell is going to lose his challenges the rest of the game. Bryant is coming out after driving in a run, and we'll have a pinch runner here, and Craig Counsell is going to make a pitching change. So we are in a holding pattern with a review and a pitching change and an injury. And another disappointing start for Kyle Loesch. Been that kind of year for him. We will take a break. We'll set up the new pitcher and the new base runner for the Cubs when we come back. Tyler Thornburg getting his warm-ups in. Pinch runner is Jonathan Herrera. That RBI base hit by Bryant comes at a price As the young all-star is out. Not sure what the injury was to Bryant. We'll await word on that. There are the numbers for Tyler Thornburg in his second game since returning from the minor leagues.
Yeah, he got called up on Friday from AAA. Tossed 2 scoreless innings on Friday against the Cubs. Gave up a hit, couple of strikeouts. Second time he's been with the Brewers. He started the season out of spring training. Got sent down on April 21st.
Second and third, 1 out for the Cubs. Here is Soler. 4-1 Chicago. Another rough outing for Lowe. She goes 4 1/3, 9 hits. So far 4 runs all earned. Both runners are Loesch's. And a walk and 3 strikeouts. Just can't turn the corner, Loesch.
No. His defense, I mean, he made some decent pitches, particularly in this inning, but the Cubs with some pretty good at-bats and a couple of dump shots into the outfield. Nothing really hit all that hard in this inning, but still, the stats are what they are.
Thornburg could use a strikeout here. The Brewers do have their infield in. And a ground ball right to Segura. Coming to the plate. And an easy out at home as Coghlan runs into the out. Going on contact. And the second out of the inning. At home plate it goes 6-2. And maybe a way out of this inning for Thornburg now.
And with 1 out, even with the infield in, the Cubs elect to take off on contact, and that's an easy out at home plate. Brewers fortunate. Soler hit that one right on the nose, and a nice play by Segura on a tricky hop. And a perfect throw into home plate.
The second out of the inning brings up Starlin Castro with runners at the corners now. And they will walk Castro to face the pitcher Richard, who drove in a run with a double his last time up. Well, there is a base open. It just happens to be at second base.
It's a good move, though. Especially with the pitcher coming up. He wouldn't do that unless the pitcher was coming to the plate. Brewers just can't afford to fall any further behind. You got to take a risk like this. You know, the way the Brewers offense has been. 3 runs even seems like a lot.
So here is Richard. He's only given up 1 run on the mound. He has 3 strikeouts. And he's driven in a run. Now he's up there with the bases loaded. Off speed again. Richard out in front. It's 0-2. Thornburg has a good curveball, good changeup. Not throwing as hard as he was in the first half of last season before he started developing some arm trouble. No surgery for Thornburg. Had some elbow stiffness. He thought when he left the Brewers he was headed for Tommy John surgery, but the UCL, the ligament in the elbow, was with rest able to repair itself. Rehab and rest. And that's smart. There's a great lesson in that, especially for all of you young players out there, young pitchers. Don't just, there are a lot of doctors that see that torn ligament and, you know, Tommy John surgery will certainly correct it, but hold it off as long as you can. Try to rest, try to recover, use rehab to strengthen the muscles around it so you don't put so much pressure on it. I was really proud of John Smoltz and his words during his Hall of Fame speech about Tommy John surgery.
He had it.
Yeah, he had it later in his career and was able to come back from it.
A lot of kids are having it before they even get hurt. That's the problem. I mean, it's one of those things where And we joke about it. You know, it's either those that have had it and those that are going to have it. But hey, you got to hold off.
Swing and a miss. Richard strikes out, and the inning is over. So Thornburg strands a couple of Cubs, but a run comes in. The Cubs lose Chris Bryant for this game. 4-1 Chicago. Michigan, and here at Miller Park, just a few miles inland, 4-1 the Cubs have the lead over the Brewers. A reminder that every weeknight don't miss MLB Whip Around on Fox Sports 1 with highlights, instant analysis, and live look-ins from around the league. MLB Whip Around is weeknights 6 p.m. Central on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Jonathan Herrera will remain in the game to play third. He pinch ran for Chris Bryant in the top of this inning. Got to be some concern there for Bryant. Looked like an apparent head injury, possible concussion. We're still awaiting the word from the Cubs clubhouse on that one. That would be a huge loss for Chicago. So Thornburg will hit. Council needing some innings out of Tyler Thornburg. He'll lead off. First at bat of the year, I think. Thornburg was a center fielder in college. He's a good hitter and he runs well.
He has not had an at bat. I'm not sure how much batting practice he's taken since he's come up. Of course, he was starting down in the minor leagues, so he's been able to swing the bat a little bit.
And Thornburg fouls it away. 2-2 the count.
Wearing number 37 now.
Yeah, had to switch numbers, didn't he? From the first time he was here.
Brewers skipper now wearing number 30.
Out to Russell. Thornburg is retired. First out of the inning.
Hey, today's time of the game winner, Leon County Tavern. Or actually Leon Country Tavern in Sparta if they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours. Leon Country Tavern gets 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a 2015 Brewers home game. So offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Sounds like a nice little getaway.
Forgot the R. Country.
Strike two, Segura. Brewers and the Padres tomorrow. San Diego coming in. Continuing this long homestand. Another 4-gamer coming up. Bouncing ball to short. Castro 2 outs. And Clayton Richard has now retired 6 straight. Brewers had back-to-back hits in the 3rd inning, had him at the corners. And then Davis lined out, hit one sharply right at short to end the inning. Richard's given up just 1 run on 5 hits. Knowing his time in the Cubs rotation may be short. Cubs have Dan Herron ready to make his Cubs debut on Wednesday. Nice pickup for Chicago. They got a bullpen arm and a starting pitcher at the trade deadline.
Well, the plan is for the Cubs after the game today, Richard gets sent down, and then they bring up a position player.
Cubs are playing with just 3 position players on the bench, and they've used Herrera now that Bryant is out, so just 2 hitters left. Imperative for the Brewers to get back in this game and start to force the hand of the Cubs a little bit.
Yeah, David Ross and Denorfia on the bench.
Lucroy, a shot to short on a hop. Castro makes a play, and Richard retires the side in order. He's retired 7 straight. 4-1 Cubs lead. To avoid a sweep of this 4-game series by the Cubs. And the series sponsorship is presented by Toyota. Good crowd on a Sunday afternoon. 4th game of an 11-game homestand for the Brewers. And a lot of trades earlier in the week. Trade deadline was Friday. The Brewers losing 3 big bats and a starting pitcher. Trading Ramirez to the Pirates. Carlos Gomez went to the Astros along with Mike Fiers and Gerardo Parra to the Baltimore Orioles. Brewers also traded Jonathan Broxton to the Cardinals. So a lot of firepower out, and it gives a few guys some opportunities here they wouldn't otherwise have. Thornburg being one of them. Addison Russell skies one to right. Braun will make the catch. And the first out here in the 6th inning. Our AT&T U-verse Rewind has to do with Thornburg. He's hoping to impress, and he was able to get out of a jam last inning. 2 on, 2nd and 3rd, nobody out, and Thornburg able to keep the Cubs down, keep them scoreless after he entered the game. And that ground out and a strikeout.
Thornburg is showing some pretty good stuff, but you look down in his minor league statistics now. It's Colorado Springs, and you take that with a grain of salt. 2-7, a 5.28 earned run average. But remember when he came up last year early in the season, And minor league statistics have been very unimpressive for Thornburg. He does most of his good work at the big league level. Taylor Youngman, another guy that could say that about.
Well, Colorado Springs is a tough place to pitch. Always has been. High elevation, hitter's park.
What was it? A couple of years ago, he came up after being in the minor leagues. What was he, 1-9, 1-10, something like that?
Last year, right?
Pitched extremely well.
3-1 pitch to Fowler. Fouls it away. Cubs are right there in the wild card picture. Starting play today. And back of the Giants. Giants and the Pirates are the two National League wild card teams right now. As Fowler skies one to Peterson. 2 outs for Thornburg.
Yeah, 2013, Tyler Thornburg in Nashville at AAA. 0-9, 579 earned run average in 15 starts. Came up to the Brewers. He was 3-1 with a 2.03 ERA. 18 appearances, 7 starts. Go figure, right?
He's a show pony. That third deck makes all the difference.
Yeah.
And he was going along very well last year until the elbow problems. He was one of the better relievers the Brewers had last year in the first half. Thornburg facing Kyle Schwarber, who's been on twice, has a single and a run scored. He was also hit by a pitch. Schwarber living a dream quickly, coming out of the draft last year. He was the first one up among the position players drafted. Michael Conforto of the Mets has since been called up. And a swing and a miss. Thornburg strikes him out to end the inning. 3 up and 3 down. First of its kind here today for Brewer pitching. Sixth inning, Brewers trail 4-1 to the Cubs. Ryan Braun with a couple of hits today. 2 doubles today, as a matter of fact. Braun will lead off this 6th inning. Check out the location of the pitches. Braun doubled down the right field line in the 1st inning, doubled down the left field line in the 3rd.
Yeah, just look at everything belt and below. I mean, everything pretty much the same. The only difference in these 2 swings is the point of contact. You see the one on the left is a double to right. The one on the left was a double to left field. And look at the point of contact right here. The ball to right field makes contact right off the back foot, and then able to get the hands out and making contact out in front of home plate. I mean, that's picture perfect for Ryan Braun. That's exactly the way it's done. You don't change your swing at all. It's just a matter of how long you let the ball get to you, before you start your swing. That's our Columbia St. Mary's worth another look.
So Braun will lead off, looking for hit number 3 today. Brewers have had a tough time scoring runs during the stretch. Remember, the Brewers were scoring a ton of runs through the first 3 weeks of July, leading the major leagues in runs per game at one point. Eight of the last 9 games the Brewers have played, they have scored 2 runs or fewer. Had a 5-2 win against the Giants back on the 28th of July on the last road trip. And other than that, it's been 0, 1, or 2 runs in every game. And a lot of L's in that grouping as well. The Brewers have lost 4 straight. They've lost 7 of 8 right now. Brewers have 5 hits, Braun with 2 of them. And the only 2 extra base hits. Right back to Richard. Good fielding pitcher, and he makes a play on Braun for out number 1. Richard's got it going right now. That's 8 straight he's retired.
Yeah, go back to those split screens that we showed you, right before Braun came to the plate, and point of contact on that ball right there was a little bit out in front on a ball on the outside corner, and that's what happens when you commit yourself and you start that bat a little bit too soon on the ball away, right off the end of the bat, and an easy comebacker. It's all about timing, and pitcher's job is to disrupt that timing. And there you see it, ball away. He's out in front a little bit. Remember the double that he hit? He made contact a little bit further back in the hitting zone. It's easy from up here. Really is.
Yep. Everything's easy from up here.
Yeah, it is.
That's why we like it so much. Lind, little ground ball to second base. Same deal there. Lind rolling over on 1, 2 outs.
Been a lot of fastballs from Clayton Richard, and hitters will tell you, when he was in his prime before he got hurt, he's got a little bit of a herky-jerky delivery. He hides the baseball pretty well. Threw a lot more off-speed pitches when he was starting for the Padres, but right now he's throwing majority of fastballs, and the Brewers are having a difficult time squaring them up.
Here's Chris Davis with 2 away.
And high 3/4 delivery, kind of slings it in there.
Best chance for the Brewers to score more runs in this game was in the 3rd with Davis at the plate and runners at 1st and 3rd, and he hit a liner right too short to end the inning. Lind had reached on an infield single, a play that went to a challenge. And the replay showed that Rizzo was off the bag. Joe Madden got ejected. Clayton Richard is not allowed a hit since. 9 in a row. Starting with that Chris Davis line drive out to end the third. They had a bench clearing brawl today. The Pirates and the Reds in Cincinnati. Multiple players ejected. That was in the 8th inning. Pirates went on to win that game 3-0. Charlie Morton had 7 shutout innings in that game. That's the next opponent for the Cubs, the Pirates. Two-two to Davis. Big bouncing ball. Castro winds it up, and the throw is good. And the inning is over. 3 ground ball outs for Clayton Richard. We head to the 7th. Cubs are up 4-1. Man, that looks good. Those roasted nuts, you know, almonds. Some of my favorite. That's my favorite smell walking into the ballpark.
Yeah, I agree.
Gets you in a good place right there. Big crowd on a Sunday afternoon. Our Marshfield Clinic leaders in relief. Games pitched among Brewer pitchers this year, and Neil Kotz is on the list. He's about to add one to it because he is in to face the Cubs. His 43rd appearance of the year. 4-1 Chicago as we go to the 7th inning. Coghlan, Rizzo, and Herrera will bat for Chicago.
And Neil Kotz, his 43rd appearance, 351 earned run average. Boy, he's going along pretty good until he gave up a solo home run to Anthony Rizzo. Who else would have hit it on Friday? He worked an inning in the 3rd, a couple of strikeouts, but that home run to Rizzo. He's been throwing the baseball very well. More strikeouts than innings pitched.
So Coghlan will lead off. He's had a good day. 2 hits and a line drive out. That's a stolen base. Kotz spent some time in Chicago. Cubs and the White Sox. Was with the Rangers the last couple of years. He's dealt with a lot of injuries. Hip injury, major hip injury, and able to come back. He's a good success story, Neil Kotz. He's another guy that might end up in an August trade somewhere. If he pitches well this month, it would not surprise me at all to see him go to a contender. His time in Chicago with the Cubs is when the injuries started to pile up. Slow roller out to short. Segura makes a nice play for out number one. Kotz pitched in the big leagues in 2009 with the Cubs, right? So he got hurt, and then he did not appear in the major leagues again until 2013. Went 4 years between appearances in the major leagues. Most people thought his career was over after major hip surgery, and then he had an infection as well. But he's been able to bring it back, and now he's 35 years of age and still going strong. He's a good story of perseverance.
Yeah, you're left-handed. You can get left-handers out on a regular basis. You're going to be able to pitch for a long time. Started out very poorly, did Neil Kotz. Had a very rough spring training. Did not fare all that well in the beginning, but boy, he's turned things around nicely.
Now Rizzo homered off Kotz Friday night. Rizzo actually has the best on-base percentage in the major leagues against left-handed pitching, and he's a lefty. His on-base percentage is .462 against left-handed pitching. Even better than Nelson Cruz, who is second in the major leagues of the Mariners.
That's a good hitter, isn't he?
He's hitting .333 against lefties this year with 4 homers. That one's in the air, deep left center field, but playable for Peterson. And on a day when Anthony Rizzo is 0 for 4, the Brewers still find themselves trailing 4-1. 2 outs in the inning.
It's really been the bottom of the order doing a lot of the damage, the bottom half anyway. When you get down to Bryant down on. Clayton Richard, the pitcher, with an RBI. Soler Castro with hits. And their number 9 hitter with a home run today.
Addison Russell went deep in the second. Herrera batting for the first time. Still no word on Chris Bryant yet. Looked like an apparent head or neck injury. And he looked a little woozy at second base. That was on that tag by Segura at second base. Bryant called safe. Herrera had to come in to pinch run for him. And we have not been told at this point what the injury is to Bryant. So Herrera batting for the first time. Had to work hard for that baseball. Gives it to the kid. Well done, sir. Ground ball to second. Herrera's got it. That will retire the side. 3 up, 3 down inning for Neil Kotz. Stretch time at Miller Park. We turn it over to Rob Edwards, Miller Park public address announcer, and the Brewers presentation of God Bless America.
Our great nation with the singing of God Bless America, led by Bob Kozlowski from Brewers Guest Services. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
inning here at Miller Park, and next Sunday is Bob Uecker bobblehead day. Courtesy of Palermo's Pizza, the Brew Crew will face off against the Cardinals, and all fans get a bobblehead of Mr. Baseball, modeled after his famous last row statue at Miller Park. To reserve your spot, go to Brewers.com today.
One of two statues. They're going to have to update that number there from 50 to 60 for Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker.
Still going strong.
Yes, he is. We were talking yesterday. We were having a chat about his, he had a couple of motorcycles, and he stopped riding a few years back, but I didn't realize he was riding bikes and had a few collisions, and now he just, whenever he finds a motorcycle, he just gets on it and tries to take a picture so it scares everybody. He had that beautiful Harley Davidson motorcycle, that custom job.
Yep.
James Russell is the new pitcher for the Cubs. Closes the book on Clayton Richard. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run.
What a start he had today, right? Well, James Russell has been very good. 39th appearance and a .292 earned run average.
Herrera leads off against Russell. Elian has a hit today, scored a run, scored the lone Brewers run back in the 2nd inning. That was an RBI ground out by Hernan Perez. Cubs have 4 on 9 hits. Home run from Addison Russell. They got an RBI on a fielder's choice from Rizzo, his 8th RBI of the series. RBI double by the pitcher Clayton Richard, and then a base hit by Bryant that drove it around a single. And Chris Bryant got hurt on that play trying to go to second on the throw. And that's a cause for concern for the Cubs. We have not gotten word yet on Bryant. They might be sitting on that one until after the game. There's a hot shot. What a play over there by Herrera. And Herrera is out. Herrera to Herrera.
Yeah, Cubs don't look like one of the worst defensive teams in the National League. Not in this series. They've been playing some pretty good defense in the infield. Starlin Castro's been good. There's a nice play by Herrera. And Addison Russell. Maybe starting to turn things around defensively of the Cubs.
One away. Clayton Richard finished his start by retiring the last 10 batters faced. And so 11 in a row without a hit for the Brewers. That infield hit by Adam Lind, the last hit. Peterson to center field. Fowler right there for out number 2. Well, Rock, as promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. What do you think about this one? Don't forget to tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag #WishDataStrongFan. We just mentioned the Uecker statue, and there they are. Natalie up there, way up there in the Uecker statue.
Have you been up there?
I have not.
You haven't, huh?
I've seen it.
Have you been anywhere other than the field and the booth?
Nope, pretty much it.
That's it? That's where it ends?
Field, the booth, the elevator, sometimes the stairs.
Press room.
Now, everybody asks me if I want to go up on the catwalk or up there with the Uecker statue or the Bernie slide. I have zero interest in doing that.
I've done it all. I've done all that. I haven't gone down the slide. I've been up there, but had to take the walk of shame back down the stairs.
Really?
Chickened out.
Interesting.
I'm man enough to admit it, though.
Tough guy like you?
I'm not tough.
That's way up there. The catwalks.
I've been up there too.
I don't know.
You know, the track beam up there along the in center field.
You know, I figure I have no business up there, so no point. There's really no point.
No, back in the old days, back in the early days of Miller Park, things weren't going all that well in the field, and we decided to do one of those, take a job of somebody at the ballpark. I ran camera for an inning. Didn't go well. I ran in a sausage race.
You did?
I did.
Did you run all the way around, or did you have to stop to walk?
I cheated. I cut across.
Nice.
And then I went up on that catwalk up there. We just showed a shot of it, and I did a hit from up there.
like Sophia would do, you know, with a mic and in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
Well, that day's gone. I'm comfortable right here.
And I was up there when the Euchre seat up there in the last row was unveiled. I was up there. We were all up there. It's pretty steep up there.
Steep but fun. Perez rolls to third, and the Brewers are going quietly on a Sunday afternoon. 13 straight batters retired for Cubs pitching. By Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. 4-1, Cubs lead it. They are looking for a sweep in this 4-game series. Brewers need to get the bats going as we head to the 8th inning. A reminder tonight, be sure to catch Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1. They've got complete highlights and analysis of everything that happened in Major League Baseball today, plus the latest from NFL training camps and the world of sports. Fox Sports Live is tonight on Fox Sports 1, streaming on Fox Sports Go. Thank our great booth staff up here, our statistician Mike Faulkner, our stage manager Renee Hoffman. Today's game being produced by Brent Reeland, directed by Mark Vittorio. Now Jeremy Jeffress to work here in the 8th inning.
Yeah, Jeffress putting together some pretty good outings. 48th appearance for Jeremy. A 3-0 record, 340 earned run average. And pitched on Thursday here at Miller Park. Did not record an out. One of the rare outings for Jeremy Jeffress where he struggled.
Jorge Soler leads off for the Cubs.
Yep, a couple of base hits and was taken out of the ball game on Thursday.
Hard throwing Jeffress against a power hitting Soler. Soler from Cuba signed a long contract, a 9-year deal. His contract does not expire until 2020. It was a $30 million contract over 9 years. He's a big man. Great young talent in Cuba.
Covers that whole batter's box just about. He spreads out from the back to the front.
And a swing and a miss. Down he goes. Jeffress strikes him out. And that's how his day begins with a K.
Yeah, just powers it right by him. A two-seam fastball with something on it. See how much of that batter's box he covers. Big man.
And one away for Starlin Castro. Castro's another guy that it feels like he's been around forever. And yet he's 25. He was in the big leagues at 20. This is his 6th year in the major leagues. Was a top 5 rookie of the year candidate in his first year in 2010. Was an all-star in 11 and 12, and then again last year. Jam shot roller to third base. 2 outs.
Hey, the Goo Goo Dolls are coming to Miller Park on Saturday, August 15th, and you can see them perform a free post-game concert following the Brewers game against the Phillies. To reserve your spot, go to brewers.com/concerts. How about those Phillies right now? Playing some pretty good ball. Won 3 in a row, 8 of 10. How about the Goo Goo Dolls? Is that more interesting to you?
Yeah, you're diving into the opponent. I thought you might take a different route with that.
I just figured I'd go to the baseball route, then the Goo Goo Dolls. I'm going to stick around for that.
Going to have one of your famous rock parties.
You coming?
We're all waiting on the golden ticket. Of course, wouldn't miss it.
It's one of your favorites, isn't it? Goo Goo Dolls.
Just your parties are my favorites. Whatever happens. Whatever reason we have to gather just is icing on the cake. James Russell getting an at-bat here in the 8th inning. Cubs reliever. First plate appearance of the season. You've got to be ecstatic with this. And when you're a reliever, you're always looking for at-bats, even when it ends in an about face. So 3 up, 3 down for Jeffers. To the bottom of the 8th we go. Brewers down 3.
Here in Milwaukee, sponsored by Toyota. Let's go places. Back here on Fox Sports Wisconsin, it is a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Hot, warm, sunny. Still time for the Brewers to try to get something going here. They're going to bat in the bottom of the 8th inning. We're getting ready for Brewers Live postgame. We're going to look at the bullpen one more time in our shining moment here tonight, starting with Tyler Thornburg.
I'll tell you what, you got to like the way he's throwing the ball. Very aggressive, giving us an inning and 2/3. Great baseball. Kotz comes in, gets the lefties out like he's supposed to. And last inning, Jeffers coming in, throwing the ball very firm, getting ahead of hitters. getting people out.
Like it's been the last week and a half. Despite the losses, the Brewers very much still in these ball games. Time getting a little bit late, but only a 3-run deficit. It's always time to get the offense going. Let's see if they can do it now. Again, Brewers Live coming up after the ball game, Brian.
All right, Craig and Augie, thanks. And as Hector Gomez is announced, Dave Martinez, the bench coach who's running the ball club right now, will make a pitching change. Wanted to get that pinch hitter announced first, and now he's going to play matchup. So Russell hit for himself. Remember, the Cubs only have 2 available pinch hitters, so with a lead, didn't want to burn a pinch hitter, and now Martinez will bring on Pedro Strop. We'll take a timeout. Pitching change at Miller Park. Brought to you by Toyota. Addison Russell with a home run for the Cubs. That came in the 2nd inning off the center field scoreboard. And Clayton Richard with an RBI for the Cubs, getting a spot start today in the big leagues. Kyle Lohse's troubles continued. Chris Bryant singled in the center field, plating Schwarber. And at that time, the Cubs led 4-1. Bryant had to leave the game after that play. Still haven't gotten word just yet. Well, Bryant looked like an apparent head or neck injury. So after all of the maneuvering, it ends up with Strop on the mound against Scooter Gennett.
Yeah, scoreless inning here against the Brewers on Friday night. Yeah, Strop, big strikeout guy. Throws hard. A lot of walks, a lot of strikeouts for the flame-throwing right-hander.
Former Baltimore Oriole. With the Rangers originally. Pedro Strop's having a good year. ERA wise. Opponent batting average is low at 148. Council sent Hector Gomez out. Once he was announced, James Russell was replaced by Strop, and then Council counters with Scooter Gennett. So it was always going to end up Strop and Gennett. Had to go through the proper channels though.
Joe Madden able to burn one of the Brewers bench players, so they've got 2 left. Logan Schaefer on the bench from the left side, and Martin Maldonado, Brewers' other catcher, from the right side.
Full count to Gennett. Brewers are down 3, lost 4-2 last night. Trying to avoid a sweep at the hands of the Cubs in the series. 3-2 pitch and little half swing. Did he go? He did. Gennett strikes out. And that's 14 straight hitters retired by Cubs pitching.
Yep, pitch out of the zone, and Gennett not able to hold up. That's that breaking ball down and in that Scooter struggles with from time to time. Third base umpire Marvin Hudson rings him up.
Here is Segura now, top of the order. Brewers will welcome in the Padres tomorrow. Cubs are going to Pittsburgh. Showdown series in August against the Pirates. Got some great pitching matchups in that series. The Pirates beat the Reds today. Pittsburgh still sitting comfortably in the wild card #1 spot. A lot of baseball remaining, but right now the Pirates are in the WC1 wild card 1. Wild card #2 spot belongs to the Giants. Giants are in Arlington this afternoon, taking on the Texas Rangers. Slow roller to short. Castro, and out at first. Close play. Segura retired.
The Padres coming in here playing some pretty good baseball. I mean, they won 4 straight, 7 of 10, and they're only 2 games under 500.
Well, the Brewers Powerball home run count is at 92. Ryan Braun had one earlier in this series. Brewers have hit just 1 in the last 2 series, however. They'd like to see that total start moving north once again. Haven't hit many home runs lately.
The Brewers have hit 3 home runs since the beginning of the last road trip, and all 3 of them Ryan Braun.
Lucroy bats with 2 out. By the way, the Padres lost today. The Marlins beat them, snapping their 4-game winning streak. San Diego didn't make any deals that we thought they might. They still could make those deals in August. But their general manager, A.J. Preller, wanting to give the Padres one shot to get on a hot streak and see if they could get back into the wild card race. Division leaders in the National League starting play today: the Nationals, the Cardinals, and the Dodgers. But close races in the East and the West. Nats up just a game on the Mets, and the Dodgers a game and a half on the Giants. Giants are being shut out right now in Texas, 2-0, bottom 7. Chance for the Cubs to move in to a tie with the Giants with a win here today. Cubs are 9 games over 500. But 9.5 back of the Cardinals. One and 2 to Lucroy. Just got a piece, hangs in there. Had 2 brawls today, by the way, Rock. The Royals and the Blue Jays cleared the benches. Toronto won that game 5-2. Took 3 out of 4 from Kansas City. R.A. Dickey got the win today.
Something in the air. Usually that happens on a full moon. That was last night or 2 nights ago.
Lucroy strikes out to end the inning. So we go to the 9th, and the Cubs have the lead 4-1. Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. Roof is open. Beautiful blue skies up above. Things not going well for the Brew Crew on the field right now. 4-1. They trail the Cubs. Trying to avoid a sweep. They're going to need a ninth inning rally. So the Padres are coming in. Miller Lite what's on tap. And the pitchers in line for the Brewers: Peralta tomorrow, Jimmy Nelson, Taylor Youngman, and Garza. And we get it started at 6:30 p.m. for Brewers Live. The first 3 games of that series. No television Thursday for the finale of the San Diego series. Say hello to our buddy Trevor Hoffman. He's working in the front office for the Padres, handling a lot of pitching assignments for San Diego. And that's a good memory.
Yeah.
Trevor Hoffman.
Yep.
Anytime the Padres come to town. Speaking of great closers, Francisco Rodriguez is on the pitch. You never like to see your closer in a game like this. That means he hasn't been out there much.
Tuesday, he picked up a save against the Giants in San Francisco, earning save number 23. 23 out of 23 for K-Rod.
Got to get him in a game to keep him somewhat fresh. And then Murphy's Law is you use him in a game like this, and then the next 3 or 4 days you're in save situations.
Right.
Which would be just fine by Frankie Rodriguez, but you can't let him go too long without getting in there. He's having a great year. No question. Was an all-star this season. Second consecutive year he's been an all-star as a Brewer. Francisco Rodriguez is currently 8th on the all-time saves list. 371 career saves.
9 seasons of 20 or more saves. Surprised there wasn't any deal with K-Rod. Talking about one of the better closers in the game right now. Just hadn't had the opportunities as of late.
Signed a 2-year deal with the Brewers. Under contract for next season as well. Addison Russell homered in the second. Cubs hung 4 earned runs on Kyle Loesch in 4 1/3 innings. 9 hits allowed by Loesch. He's on the hook for the loss. Thornburg, Kotz, and Jeffress been able to pitch scoreless relief for the Brewers, and the Brewer bats have just gone silent. Cubs pitchers have retired 16 straight Brewers. Brewers had an infield hit from Adam Lind in the 3rd inning with 2 outs, and that's been it since.
The Brewers have 23 runs in the last 12 games. You're not going to do too much winning when you put up those kind of run totals.
Everything away to Russell. Full count. 7th pitch of the at bat, and that one is in the air, foul. Count remains at 3-2. Carlos Gomez is in the lineup again for the Astros. He has a hit and 2 RBIs today for Houston. Fly ball center field. That'll stay playable for Peterson. First out of the inning for Rodriguez in a long battle with Russell.
Yeah, rest is good for Frankie Rodriguez, but you're pushing a full week. That's maybe a little bit too much. Last pitched on Tuesday, so 5 days of rest.
One gone. Top of the order, Dexter Fowler. Fowler had a single in the 1st inning to start the game. First batter Loesch faced. and has now reached base in 17 consecutive games. He's done a good job for him in that leadoff spot. Low average, but getting on base, setting the table for their big boppers.
Great speed, switch hitter, Fowler. Cubs don't do a lot of running, but Fowler, one of the guys that will take off.
Lucroy wants a changeup. 0-2 the count. The signature pitch for Francisco Rodriguez. That's what makes him so great in the 9th inning when the heat is on and the pressure builds. Hitters are anxious. K-Rod just throws the flutter ball in there. Gives you all the elbows and knees and all that motion. Fastball that time.
But the key to his success is that pitch right there. He's been able to get ahead with that pitch. It's only 90, 91 miles an hour, so he can't throw it down the middle. He's been good on the corners, in and out. And then he goes to that changeup. He's also been throwing some curveballs early.
K-Rod's got a long streak going currently in save situations. He's converted 28 straight saves. Going back to last year. Last time he blew a save was against the Padres last year in San Diego. That was in August of last year. Late August. Swing and a miss. Down goes Fowler. Strikeout for K-Rod.
And there's a changeup. Got him on a changeup, and Lucroy able to hold on. Got good movement going down and away, and Fowler over to the top of it.
There's the grip. Circle change. Tumbling down, and hitters can't see it right. Has the same rotation as a fastball, hitters will tell you. And the arm speed is the same, and the release point is the same. The ball just comes out slower. So by the time your brain figures it out, if you're not sitting on it, you're out ahead of it.
Yeah. It's rotation that tips hitters off a lot of times. Sometimes with some pitchers, they'll do something different with their breaking pitch. Maybe come out of a different arm slot. Not too many, but once in a while. It's tough to pick up a good changeup. That's other than the fastball, probably the best pitch.
Yeah, all you young pitchers out there, learn how to throw a good changeup. You'll be amazed. It takes some guts to throw a pitch that's not your fastest pitch to a hitter, but it works. It's all about deception. Like that. Had Schwarber out in front,
and you grunt.
0-2.
And you grunt at the same time.
Yeah, every now and then a grunt helps, and that's always fun.
When you grunt, that must mean you're trying to throw the ball real hard.
3 things you have to do to throw a good changeup, or what? Aside from the grunt.
Same arm action.
Arm action.
You know, the choke off the velocity. Don't put the baseball out in the fingers. And keep it down. Grunt doesn't hurt.
And commit to it.
But the key is not to slow down your arm action. That's not a good changeup. I mean, hitters will pick that up quickly.
Well, it makes perfect sense. You know, if you want to throw a rock across a lake, you're going to grip it right at the end of your fingertips, right? But if you're going to throw something that's not as hard as you can throw it, you put it back in your hand so your fingertips don't even get on the ball.
You don't get as much backspin on it, right? Changeup's not going to have as much backspin. It's going to have the same spin, but not as much of a backspin on it as a fastball.
So go find somebody to play catch with right now and go work on your changeup out in the backyard. But wait till the game's over. We don't want you to miss a potential rally. Hard pitch to learn. 2-2 to Schwarber. And he got him. That's the one. The change up again. Schwarber down on strikes. K-Rod 3 up, 3 down. All right, the Brewers are down 3. Last call. Braun's coming up. Let's see if the Brewers have a finishing kick here today. Our Toyota game summary: down 3, bottom of the 9th. Brewers bullpen's been very good. They've kept the Cubs at 4. Scored that 4th run in the 5th inning, but they've held them there, and they've given themselves a chance here in the bottom of the 9th. Ryan Braun, who has 2 hits, 2 doubles, will lead off. Braun, Lind, and Chris Davis. Brewers need 3 to tie. Might as well get 4 and call it a day. Trying to salvage one here in the final game of the series. Hector Rondon, the Cubs closer, after getting a day off yesterday, is back out there for a save opportunity.
Yeah, save on Friday was his 3rd save in a row in 3 consecutive days. He's been on a roll. He's given up only 1 earned run in his last 28 innings of work. That covers 29 games, going all the way back to May 25th. He's been pretty good.
A Rule 5 pickup from the Indians. Been a nice sign for the Cubs, emerging as a closer. Braun sends that one into the seats. 98-mile-an-hour fastball that time got by Braun. That's been his workload. That's one of the reasons Joe Madden had him down yesterday. Tommy Hunter got the save yesterday, got the final 2 outs in his first game as a Cub, coming over from the Orioles. 99.
Yep. Day off did him some good, didn't it? Fastball, cutter, pretty much all you're going to get out of Rondon in save situations.
And Braun hits it hard to right. Base hit. 3 hits today for Ryan Braun.
Another 99-mile-an-hour fastball, able to get on top of it. So a good start. One more base runner brings the tying run to the plate. Fastball away from him, and nobody really does any better of taking the baseball to right field than Ryan Braun. You can see the point of contact exactly where you want it. See the head down, and the same swing, just wait a little bit longer. Of course, 99 will help you wait.
Aren't many hitters that can do that.
A lot of guys do hit it to right, but not many can hit it, get on top of that pitch so consistently and hit it on the ground.
So that's a good start. Lead off single. Here's Adam Lind. who's 1 out of 3, reached on an infield hit back in the 3rd inning. He's got 3 hits in this series. They've all come in the last 2 games. I'd like to see Lynn get loose with a long ball here at some point. He's sitting on 16. He's been at 16 for a while now. Lynn's last home run was on the 22nd of July against the Indians. Braun takes off. Lynn fouls it away.
And just trying to stay out of the double play. You take that base. Make all 3 outs come at home plate.
Every time Braun has tried to steal a base in this game, Lynn has fouled off the pitch. That's the 3rd occasion that has happened. And he takes off, and Lynn fouls another one away. And it's getting his wind sprints in. A lot of games going final in the major leagues. Got a big showdown tonight. Washington and the Mets. Division race going on there. Another foul ball as Braun takes off.
He's going to give up here. I get it.
When's the last time you were in a dead sprint, Rock? Are we talking years or decades?
Does that count from going to the booth to the men's room here?
There goes Braun again, and a liner to left. That's going to fall. And now Braun on his way to 3rd. He'll make it there without a throw. And here they come, the Brewers with back-to-back hits. 2 on, nobody out. The tying run will bat.
And Chris Davis coming up. He nearly hit one out of here last night to right field. And finally able to get one right off the end of the bat. A fastball up and away. Braun continued to take off. Had to make sure that ball was going to drop and able to get into 3rd base.
I think Braun got a look at Herrera, who was in no position to take a throw. And made it a race to the bag. Coughlin did the right thing. Didn't try to force it. With a 3-run lead. All that running pays off. Braun at 3rd base now. Here is Chris Davis. One big swing away from getting this game tied up. And a power hitter who can handle a high velocity fastball as well. And rightly so. Rondon throws him a slider.
Yeah, everybody knows that Davis is a good fastball hitter. So you start him with the breaking ball, get that in his head, and then go back to the heater. Get a lot of swings on that slider when you're throwing the upper 90s. Got to start that bat early.
Cubs pitchers had retired 16 straight before Braun singled, and now Lynn has singled. 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Davis at the plate, Herrera to follow, and then a hot hitter in Shane Peterson. 1 and 2 now on Davis. Davis looking for one mistake. He's in a homer drought as well. He's on the last homestand. His last home run back on the 18th of July.
He's had a few near misses here at Miller Park, though, in this series.
He almost hit one out last night. Soler leaped at the wall to take a home run away from him.
A couple of other occasions as well, taking outfielders deep. Rendon's been throwing him a lot of cutters.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Davis. He loses the bat, but he fouls the pitch away. She's still intact. Able to stay alive. One ball, 2 strikes. Man, he's hanging tough. 99-mile-an-hour fastball.
And Rondon just continued to stay around the strike zone, and Chris Davis able to just get a piece. See, the fastball, the cutter, and the difference in velocity is about 4 miles an hour, not that much.
Well, he's got a 3-run lead to work with. See what he goes with here in a 1-2 count. He misses with a fastball. 2-2 on Davis. Davis has huge power. Brewers are hoping in a full healthy year he could hit 25-30 home runs. He's got that kind of pop. And now Schwarber wants to have a chat. Castro comes in as well.
He stays healthy. There's no reason to think that he can. Gets that consistent playing time. He's going to get that, you know, the rest of the way, last couple of months. And that will determine how much playing time he gets next year.
He earned the everyday job starting this year in left field. Lost that job, had a knee injury. 2-2. And down he goes. He went with a slider, and it was a good one.
Took a little off, 89 miles an hour, and got him out in front.
Just got to tip your hat sometimes on a pitch like that. He made a big pitch in a big moment. You're dialing up for a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. This one takes care of it.
Yeah, that was a good pitch going straight down, and Rondon gets his first out.
So Herrera at the plate. There's 1 out of 3. He'll be ready to fire away on that first pitch. Braun at third, Lind at first. A strike, a fastball. Burn that outside corner. 0-2 now on Herrera.
That just does catch the edge. Looked like Herrera was able to hold up. Marginal, but got the call.
It's fast and it's got movement. No balls, 2 strikes. 1-2 on Elian. A switch hitter. Got more power from the left side. It's all tough when a guy's throwing this hard, but I would imagine a left-handed hitter has a bit of an advantage against Rondon. That slider coming into you. Two and two.
And the advantage of being a switch hitter, you never really have to deal with anything going away from you.
Herrera just got back to the big leagues on Friday. Two pitch is grounded to second. Russell to Castro, and that's all they'll get. A run scores to make it 4-2 Cubs, but now 2 men are out. Brewers will still bring the tying run to the plate and give Herrera an RBI. And both runs driven in for the Brewers today have been on groundouts. 4-2 now. And the last hope for the Brew Crew, Shane Peterson. Shane Peterson has never homered in the major leagues. This would be a great spot for one. Herrera will take second. Defensive indifference. No stolen base. And a base hit will make it a one-run game. Peterson's been one of the bright spots in this rough time offensively. Has another hit today. He's 1 for 3. 3 for 10 in this series. Making his third straight start in center field. Ground ball to short. Oh, Castro boots it. And no play.
Tying run comes up. How about that? Wow, that's what we talk about. I mean, he makes these great plays and then they'll let one roll right up his glove.
Well, that is huge. Now the Brewers put the tying run on.
Yep, right up the glove, and you know, the inning continues. Now the home run,
which would be a winner. Castro, error number 18 on the season for the Cubs shortstop. Chris Bosio, the pitching coach. I think this is his first trip to the mound in this series. That's how good the Cubs have pitched. I don't remember seeing Bosio.
No, he hasn't come out.
So Rondon continues on here after the error by Castro. He's thrown 26 pitches already. Hernan Perez, another guy who will be swinging at that first pitch if he gets a strike. He's hit one home run in his big league career, and that came in Los Angeles right before the All-Star break. Home run here wins it for the Brewers. Perez, line drive, base hit. The line keeps moving. In to score is Herrera. And the Brewers are within a run. Hernan Perez with an RBI single.
This would be a great snatching back here. First pitch, able to turn on it. And the Brewers a base hit away from tying it up. Nice swing, nice easy swing, good balance, and a line drive into left field.
2 RBIs today for Perez. Came into this game with just 4. And now what a moment here for Logan Schaefer. Just called back up to the big leagues. Pinch hitting here in the 9th. Tying run at second, winning run at first. Cubs outfield is deep. And Schaefer takes a strike.
Well, deep and right. Soler always plays deep and right. And fairly average in center and left. Cubs are maybe putting themselves in a position maybe to get a play at the plate on Peterson on a base hit.
Schaefer center field right at Fowler, and the game is over. Oh man, what a bad break for Logan Schaefer. He did right on the button. But the game is over and the Cubs sweep the Brewers. Starlin Castro looking up to the sky. 4-3 the final. Clayton Richard beats Kyle Loesch. Rondon with save number 16. And the Cubs are now a season high 10 games over 500. And they are right there in the picture in the wild card race. Time for Brewers Live. Craig Kashawn standing by with Jerry Augustine. Take it away, Craig.
Almost in that 9th inning, almost for Milwaukee. We'll see if that wakes up the offense in time for the Padres coming to town tomorrow. Get you all set for that series here from Craig Counsell in the clubhouse as well. Brewers Live postgame is next.